Hello everybody. Hello, how are you? So, today, Augustine Kachera is here. Hello, Donald Trump supporter for a long time, for 5 years. And when he just started when he had the idea of running for president, I was already supporting him. And for 5 years, I have been through a long road as a minority representing Trump supporters in an anti-American environments, which are Miami, Argentina, and Ireland. That's where I lived in the past 5 years. 3 countries are aligned with the Democrats. I said Miami as a country because Miami is so different from the USA. So Miami is mostly aligned with the Democrats. Argentina is mostly aligned with the Democrats. The current president of Argentina was elected by the Democrats here in Argentina, even a different country, but the Democrats have a big power here. And Ireland, the same thing. The entire country of Ireland is run by the Democrats. So I survived for 5 years. I'm still in one piece. Look here, only 1 hour. I'm one piece, but still has been very rough 5 years. And that's what I tell in a lot of my videos and my stories. I am also Italian. I believe Italy is the one that is a country that gives me this support, because Italy is not that Democrat. Italy has a lot of Trump supporters in Italy, progressives and patriots. Italy has a very strong base, and also that's why Italy is being attacked so roughly, okay, this past years. And but anyway, so this video, I'm going to talk about 3 tags. These are the hashtags of this video. $1 trillion, coronavirus, and the dark age. So I'm going to talk a bit about these 3 elements, so we get a bit more focused about reality, because I like to talk about reality. I like the word dreamer, American dream, the dream, I like that. But usually dreaming, I associate more dreams with poetry, with dreaming itself. I love sleeping. I sleep a lot, so and then I dream, and then you fantasize, and it's beautiful, but it's not. But I prefer reality. Reality, we have good things, so I would not use. I'm taking off the hat just because it covers my face. So Donald Trump 2020, stay here, focus. Okay, so let's talk about reality. I talk realities like projects, ambitions, desires, things you want to accomplish. That's not a dream. That's just something you want to do. It's an objective of your life. It's a goal you want to reach. And so on all of this, I like to talk real things. And when it comes to real things, there are real things for bad and real things for good. So every time you want to survive, you want to work, you want to prosper, one thing that's very important is you to focus on your reality and your possibilities. The number 1 is dark age. First, what is a dark age? A dark age is a moment when the wealthy, the rich, the powerful, the upper classes are bad. That happens for a series of factors. That does not mean there's no good. It just means that the power is made and conducted by bad people. It starts slowly. There is always somebody bad and good out there. So, but it's called corruption, okay? And then one person reaches power, stealing, defaming, using people, not paying their debts. Nothing happens, and he's there. Then another guy comes, and then he's also powerful. So unfortunately, that happened already, maybe in the last 20-30 years, and it was very quick. Today we face a dark age, and it has happened before in history. We had times of darkness in the past. I think in 2 states, in the last 2,000 years of known history. I think it happened first at the end of the Roman Empire. It lasted like 300 years or 700 years, and then it happened again in the 1300s to the 1500s. I think that was 200 years again. There's all ages of darkness, and usually those ages there's not that much documentation. Usually the historians, they don't know much. We know much about the Illuminists, about the Enlightenment, times. So that's why we know so much from the 1500s to the 1900s. Like, we know a lot of our history because it was all documented. There's nothing to hide. But now we're back on the Dark Age. And one of the things you see, a lot of the history of everything that's happening now is not being that documented. One of them is all the digital media. Everything is digital, digital, digital. At some point, the tech companies, they just delete your profiles, they delete your accounts, and everything's gone. Okay, so there's no documents, there's not a lot of papers or documents or things that are going to be stored for the next generations to know exactly what's happening. One famous case of this dark age we live is the famous Hillary Clinton emails on the chaos there in Libya and the embassy and all that. They're just deleted and nobody really knows in detail all the WikiLeaks and all those documents that they show up with a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes. And so it is a dark age. So why I explain the dark age? We need to understand the reality. For example, not to go crazy. For example, me, I'm a very honest person. I'm a very successful person. I have always just worked hard. I pay my bills. I pay my employees. I pay my taxes. I pay everything. All legal. I create prosperity. I create wealth. I generate business. I'm a sales guy. And I can't prosper. Why? Because it's a dark age. Every time I make some money, somebody shows out of the blue, they steal everything, and there's nothing I can do. Because I go to the police, they don't do nothing. I go to attorneys, they don't do nothing. I have 7 or 8 lawsuits running, like, as we speak. And I'm like, what happened? You know, like today we were talking with a police officer in Dublin, Ireland, like a whole day. We need a police report, the police report. For example, attorneys, I have like 5 or 6 attorneys in the USA working on my cases in America. I have 3 attorneys in Brazil. I have a team of 4 attorneys in Bangkok. And what is the solution? I mean, I'm still here 2 years. I was robbed about $10-20 million in 2018. You know, so, and that's not the first time. I was robbed this year again. So I tried, I'm working in slow motion on my own business. And I tried again this year to do sales and stuff, and I was robbed again. So it was I bought some rice in Brazil. They didn't ship with my brand, they shipped with a different brand, and they took my commissions, they didn't pay my commissions. So I just, you know what, let a whole thing standing by until this dark age ends. And my case is an example about problems about the dark age. What are the problems? First, confusion. We don't know what's going on. It's a lot of conflicts. And second, a productive person like me, we do not produce, and that's why there's so much inflation. That's why almost everything is trying to be produced overseas. That's why nobody's fishing in Ireland, for example. That's why everything the USA is made in China and everything. Because why you're going to produce, why you're going to invest your time and energy producing and working if you don't even know what benefit you're getting from that. So that's my case, and that's the case with a lot of entrepreneurs all over the world, which is not safe, okay? That's one thing. So the conflicts, they tend to rise, and that's why we see so much conflicts, because there is less production, there is less activity, there is less jobs, because there is way too much criminality, especially in the white collar level, okay? That's the big. So we have the damages by the money stolen. We have the damages about the production that's not being conducted. We have the damages of future businesses that they don't prosper. Everything gets stuck, and that's why you have this stagnation. Another thing is confusion. Coronavirus. What's my personal opinion? Yes, the virus exists. I believe it does exist. If it was created or not by artificial, it's still God's creation. It's there. It exists. No matter if it was through humans or not, this thing is there. But we do have a lot of confusion. I believe it's a bug of a lot of factors that coincides with maybe the deepest time of this dark age we're living. Probably today are the hardest days of this entire dark age we're all living today. So on this confusion, nobody really knows. I think by intuition, a lot of people are rejecting the masks. They don't want to wear them. They believe the whole story is fake. But it comes as a survival intuition. They're denying everything. They're scared about everything. But also because there are known governments that are definitely interested in educating anybody on what's really going on, because the reality is very rough. It's a lot of corruption going on, a lot of mafias. I believe there is a war of mafias, the American mafia with a Chinese mafia and some sort of a European mafia, and they are fighting to each other. And we common people, we just do not know exactly what's going on. A lot of people say, oh, they want to destroy Ireland, they want to destroy Italy. Like, there's nobody really anti-Ireland, because Ireland's not a mafia itself. So they're not destroying Ireland, but there are mafias that they use Ireland for some tasks and some objectives that they are conducting stories through Ireland. And I believe that's why it's been so aggressive. Ireland has been such an aggressive reality in this past few years. Because, you know, for those who do not know, America, the United States, the tax division that's called the IRS. The IRS, they collect, I think, about $7 trillion every year. 7 trillion, okay, 7 trillion dollars a year. And it seems to me that through Ireland, a lot of anti-Trump companies, they evade about $1 trillion every year. So the Republic of Ireland represents to the USA $1 trillion in taxes, okay, that they're not being paid to the IRS. 1 trillion, okay? So, and this money is being used through schemes with the United Nations and all sorts to really sabotage America even more. And a big example was Donald Trump. He pushed out they withdraw their investments in the World Health Organization, and the same week Ireland quadrupled, so it's like 4 times more money to the United Nations, because they need to cover the bills of the United Nations, of the World Health Organization. That was done through Ireland. But a lot of people, they believe Ireland's that rich. No, it's not. That's American money. It's just going through Ireland because of these fights. And I think it's a war that's being lived in the USA. It's not in Ireland, but Ireland is being the battlefield. But it's an American war. It's going through Ireland. So $1 trillion that should be paid to Donald Trump, to the Republicans that are running America today, it's not. It's being used, it's being deviated, smuggled to Ireland. And through Ireland, they're doing whatever they want, and maybe even doing anti-Trump campaigns, such as the one that the World Health Organization is doing, because everybody that follows American news knows that one of the big attacks that the Democrats are doing against Donald Trump is the fact that he's not doing the best to control the coronavirus pandemia. Okay, so that's why the World Health Organization is using American money to really attack Donald Trump because of a dispute of power. But again, it's a dark age, and it's not a classical dispute of power. It's a dispute of gangs. Okay, so do not really. It's very easier. Like if you see like a drug dealers fighting for drugs, or in your somewhere that's a bit more dangerous in Dublin. Okay, that's the same level of people they are conducting the war today. Okay, it is a dark age, a time of massive corruption, and the biggest symbol of all the corruption and the mafias that are running the whole world today is Greta Thunberg. Okay, I mean, 20 years ago, when things were not so dark as they are today, nobody would accept a child being used for labor. Like, she's working, and she's working for a long time. I'm not sure when she started. I think she was only 12 years old. I think now she's like 16 or 17, but she was really conducting the adults' work, you know, like politics and stuff. And she's a child, and by law in Sweden, in Switzerland, it's very serious. I mean, she's not really allowed to work. That's child abuse. Like, she's being exploited. She does not know. She's not adult enough to know what she's doing. She's being used over and over and over for marketing, for propaganda, for politics and stuff. Like, in politics, that's just a very adult's word. And then you have this child there coming from a country like Sweden that they have nothing to complain about. You know, like, so it is a dark age, okay? And just be patient and understand it's a dark age. We need to be realistic about, first of all, that we do not know what's going on. So we try to survive. There is good people out there. Stay tuned about who you can trust around you, who you cannot trust. There's a lot of spies. There's a lot of people that are working for these bad people around the whole world. I do not know how this is going to end. Usually, in past times in history, of this end with the death of the civilizations they represent. So that's how the Roman Empire fade away. That's how the English Empire fade away. Like, it's so much corruption, things stay out of control, people don't produce. So at the end, the whole entire civilization dies, and maybe that's what we're facing, that everybody's saying that maybe 50 years, the Western civilization is not going to be there anymore, okay? One thing, some hope is the 8th Amendment in the USA. Why? In America, when Washington created the institution called the United States of America, he previewed that dark times may happen, may occur. Like, he developed these ideas of the republicanism and the freedom of speech, the labor rights, and all this. They came from the French Revolution, right, in France. So once they created America, George Washington, okay, he previewed that maybe some sort of tyranny would show up. And that's why he put the right of bearer of arms, which is the 8th Amendment in the USA. Why he did that? At your home, you can have your own guns and make your own house a republic. What does that mean? If you're dissatisfied with your government, you can't get organized and fight the government. So he made that as trusting people to fight for their rights. That's why it's so strong, these disputes and these wars in America. And that's why a lot of people believe that maybe this dark age we're living is going to end with a civil war in the USA, when Americans are going to just start fighting for their rights and they're going to try to take down the tyranny. Unfortunately, in Europe and other countries, they didn't follow that. Actually, there's a lot of misconceptions, and they changed the story a lot overseas. They said that just Americans are crazy, all of them, they have guns and whatever. But that's what they say, again, in anti-American, pro-democrat countries like Europe, Argentina, Cuba, countries that they're not happy with the system that America has. So they promote that, but it's not. That's the right of defense against the government. Yes, there are crazy things, like people do crazy stuff with these guns. Yes, they do. But the meaning why the 8th Amendment exists is a chance for American people to defend themselves. And I believe if that was Ireland, in Ireland, people would have the right of arms, to bear arms. They would be, the government was not going to be this authoritarian, and this tyranny that we live nowadays in Ireland wouldn't be so rough as it is, because they would be scared. Look, because I believe Irish people would take guns and do that, maybe even worse than Americans. So that's the thing. Unfortunately, again, I have not good news. I'm just explaining a little bit more about the things I like to make public and everybody to know, and to be a little bit, again, more peaceful, more aware of the reality. And let's hope this dark age finishes and during our lifetime. But unfortunately, in other times in history, it lasted maybe 200 years, 300 years. So one good solution is try to get organized in communities. Like, for example, even the Mennonites, they do that in America. So if you just get organized in your own community and try to defend your own community and stay away from the madness of this dark age, which also is not exclusive of Ireland or Europe. It's global. It's all over the world. Okay, and so other civilizations, they will be extinct as well. So do not believe that maybe the Muslims are not having problems. They are also having problems, but they are more segregated. They're not that integrated with the whole thing. They have their own thing, but it's a very dark community too. Like, they believe in a lot of things that really comes from the darkness. So that's the thing. Okay, so look, coronavirus does exist, but to understand the reality of this dark age, all the confusions, we do not know exactly what's going on. if you don't have structure to survive, just follow the rules and obey but understand they're criminals telling you what to do, like obey. I'm sorry sir, I'm sorry sir, okay, thank you. If you don't want to be in trouble, as that happened with this guy last week, that he was arrested and everything, like but don't really try to understand much. It's gangs wars and criminal wars. There's a lot of curtains of smoke. Okay, so when you see the news and this barbaric news, okay, it's not just now there's a Muslim event in the Craic Park. Now there's a pedophile a minister that is on pedophilia and like whatever. It's all this craziness, all this madness. They're just curtains of smoke. They're not really interested in educating anybody. They're not interested in helping anybody. It's just for the money. It's disputes of power. And another thing, usually gangs, they're not really much into the money itself. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, look at that, he wants $1 million to do that. It's not only that, because humans, I mean, we can't think about the figures. With $1 million, I mean, you already have everything materialistic that the world can offer. So you don't need more than 1 million, 5 million, $10 million, okay? Well, at a certain level, you're already there. Like, there's nothing. You can occupy 10 houses at the same time. You cannot use 100 cars at the same time. You cannot wear 500 jewels at the same time, all right? But there's a dispute of power. So a lot of the disputes we're seeing, there are mafias and gangs, Irish mafia, American mafia, they're fighting to each other, but they're not that logic. It's not that they're disputing something economic. It's a dispute of status, of power, of who's better than the other. A little bit like you see in gangs which are more accessible, which would be like drug dealers or prostitutes, you know, sections of towns that you see they're dominated by a group and another group. Okay, so that's a level also of the upper scale, okay? And that's what everybody good is also facing. I believe Donald Trump is a good man at the end of the day. He's not perfect, but I believe he has good intentions. But I see also myself on him, because I'm a good person. I pay my bills, I do my work, I hire people, I pay my debts, I destroy. People want to buy my products, but I can't exist because every time I reach a certain level, I am in this gangster's world, and it's horrible. It's very rough, and I get accused and defamed and slandered by ugly stuff. But it comes from them, not from me. It's not they're even asking me. I was, for example, banned from one Facebook account a few days ago, and there was all these gangsters. They are Italians and they live in Dublin. They were attacking me, but they were talking along again, and I've seen that before. They're accusing me of a lot of things. I was just watching. One of the things they were accusing me is that on my videos I write comments that they don't exist. So they imagine I have time to really write down and counterfeit comments of people. I don't. I just let them talking, and they were saying, oh yeah, look at that, how crazy. They were talking about that. Like, no, I don't do that. What happens is I get comments because my videos are shared in lots of different platforms. So but people comment, usually they want the comment to arrive to me. They believe that this comment is going to arrive to me through Facebook, through a message. So a voicemail, they leave a voicemail to me. So what I do, I copy and paste and I put them on the video. So they see that's myself writing the whole thing, but I just copy and paste and I put the name, Mary Ireland. I put the name of the person, I just copy and paste. And I sometimes even copy my answer, which I was also giving to the person there. I copy my answer. And I'm such a honest person that I even write down negative comments against me. I put them there as well. But no matter what, you know, the gangsters and the mafias, they're talking that it's all counterfeit, because that's what where they come from, okay? And they are the ones that have power today. So stay tuned. Be aware. Let's survive. A good thing everybody's doing is praying. Okay, like pray. When I say pray, it's like wish. Okay, I'm not even going to mention any specific religion. I am Christian, but just pray and hope and wish that things are going to get better, that this storm is going to end and things are going to get better. Remember, always after the darkness, there's the reflourishment. There is this renaissance, and it's usually very good, because once things are really degenerated, very degraded, is when seeds, new seeds that can prosper very well because they don't have any other plants to fight for survival. It's all dead. So then they reborn beautifully and sometimes even super fast. So let's hope this is going to happen soon. But on the other hand, do not stress too much with the mainstream. It's all rotten. It's all horrible. Just try to keep it up with your limits that you can control and be an example to somebody who's around you. Okay. Good things about the quarantine is that the families are more bonded together, are living more together. A lot of these massive touristical cities like Dublin, for example, Amsterdam, Rome, they're very key cities. We're having the time to enjoy local life, village life, which is very good for our mind because those cities became so anonymous. So I'd love to go to Temple Bar Street today, for example, to really see who's out there. It's going to be locals, which has never ever happened maybe in the last 20 years. Okay, so that's a good thing. To reset is a good thing. For example, with all the crimes I've been victim of, all my lawsuits, is really, I'm just reducing. I'm not really getting involved in import-export. It's way too dangerous to operate. The police is not doing much. The attorneys is like a fiasco. A lot of the crimes we see going on in Ireland and all over the world is because the attorneys are all working for corruption, because that's where the money is. So that's allows to explain a lot of immigration. Why so much immigration? Because that's where attorneys are making money. Okay, so if they want to make money, they will work with immigration. They do not care about what future that family is going to have, but they're getting some cash payments doing that. Okay, so it is rough, but like we try to really reset, stay away from all of this, and be in peace. It's not your fault. It's the darkness of the times we're living today. And let's hope things get better soon. Okay, so let's go back to Donald Trump. I support him. I hope he's elected. I believe he's one of the very few people all over the world that are fighting for some sort of good future for everybody. All right. Okay. Cheers. 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 Cheers.
Traveling chef.